We're going to work on modeling a building in Sketchup, so let's open up the file. So if you're working on this, you should have a file similar to this. There should be an image of a plan, the outline of the building here in the middle, some textures over to the side that we need to apply to the building when we're done modeling, and then some images of the side elevations of the building. So to start out with, we're going to draw the outline of the building, but it's hard to see our lines if we trace on top of this, so we need to go into X-ray mode. So to do that, click View, Toolbars, and click on Styles. Close that, and then the left side of the Styles toolbar is X-ray, so I click that to turn on X-ray. So now everything is see-through. It's like trace paper. It's good for tracing. So now I need to get my drawing tools up. So I go to View, Toolbar, click on Large Tool Set, and move that over to the side. Double click, and click on the Line tool, and then start tracing the outside of the building. I'm not going to trace these little areas right here yet because they're different. They're like these towers, and they have different walls, different roofs. Everything about them is different materials. So I'm only going to trace the other walls, not these four little towers. I'll do those separately. So I'll just click on the corner right in the middle of these black lines and start tracing the outside of the walls. And go all the way around the building. Now when I get to this point, I do want this line to line up with that line, so it's doing it automatically right now. But if it doesn't do it automatically, I can start drawing that direction, hover, hold shift to lock it, and then click on that point to make sure that it matches. And finish drawing the outside of the building. So I want this corner to match this corner, so I'm going to hold shift to lock it, and then click here so those line up perfectly. And I'm actually, since I'm not drawing these towers, I'm just going to go straight across for now. And also, I'm not going to draw these towers, so I'm going to connect these lines here, and then use the eraser tool to erase the extra lines, because I'll draw these towers separately, because we'll make one and then make it into a component and then copy it 3 more times, so that whenever we draw the door handles, anything we update, all 4 will update because they're exactly the same. So now that we have drawn the outside, we should be able to click on that middle part and it selects a face. So that's what we want. We want a whole face to be drawn. Now we're going to create the edge of the outside of the wall here. So use a line tool and draw right in the middle of these dark lines the edge of this. Now here I want to hover over this line, hold shift, so I can make sure it lines up with that bottom line. And go up, and that's a light, so we're going to draw this as a separate object later. Now where this material transitions, I'm just going to put a little bit of a step, not much, just to help me to see it. And then, so the top of the wall, should be go one more step out and then up. That should be the whole outside of the wall. So I'm going to select that, use the move tool, and click on the bottom of it and move it over to our big outline here. Then I'm going to finish drawing the wall. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the wall, draw over to the left until I get to the inside of the wall, then go straight up all the way and hold down Shift to lock it in the blue up axis, and then snap it to that top of the wall and then draw over. And if everything is lined up straight, it should make another face, small face. So we got this one, and then we got the big outline. Now what we need to do is use the follow me tool to make this line go around it, around the whole building. So the follow me tool is right here. Click on it, click on the small face, and then start hovering over the line, and it'll automatically draw that profile all around the building. And just hover all the way around. Now when we get to this side, we're not gonna go all the way and close it. We're gonna stop it short right there and leave a gap, because if you don't leave a gap, if you just pull it all the way over here and try to line it up at the end, a lot of times it can be glitchy and it will create these weird artifacts in the seam. So we're going to stop it short and then just finish drawing the rest of it over. So we'll click the X-ray button to turn off X-ray so we can see our walls now, because we're not tracing right now. So we could pull this a little closer, either with the move tool or the push-pull tool, just to move it over a little closer to here, but not all the way. Then we want to delete these two faces. Select tool, select, click the delete button. Then just use the line tool and draw a line from one to the other. And there's other ways you could do this, but I found this creates the least amount of glitches. Oh, thank you. So we're just going to connect these two pieces together on all these lines here. That will finish off the outside of the walls of the building. Then we use the select tool and select and delete any extra faces that it made that we don't need. And then also we can use the select tool to select those lines and delete those extra lines. Those are just going to get in our way. So now it should be nice and clean. There's no glitches. Because we did our little trick where we just draw lines at the end there. And that's our outside walls. So what I want to do at this point is triple click to select everything. I'm going to go edit, make group. So now that's a separate group, and we can work on drawing the roof next. Okay, before I go on, I'll save it in case it crashes, which does happen when you're doing a lot of complex things. So now we want to make the roof, and we're going to do almost the same method, except the roof, if you look at it, is more simple than the walls. So the wall comes over, steps back, steps up, and that shows in this drawing, but the roof doesn't do that. It just goes straight across. So we're going to draw what we think is a simplified version of the roof outline based on looking at these side drawings. You can see this side just goes straight across. So use the line tool and we'll create another face. We'll start by clicking on the corner and going to this corner, but we're going to simplify it, and there should be a line right here, one line right there, but they forgot to draw it, because it should come over here, simplify to this edge, then this edge should simplify to this edge. That's just my guess by looking at this side. It's like one and then steps out once, not multiple times. And then this will go to the corner, and then instead of stepping back, it'll just go straight over to this corner. And this doesn't step, it just goes straight to this corner. So now we have, that's the outline of how the roof should be. Now we're going to draw the profile of the roof. So to do that, I'm going to turn on X-ray mode again, so I can trace the outline of this roof with the line tool. So I'm going to go back a few feet and click on this dark line and just start tracing the profile of this roof. And click the line tool again and draw up, and then it creates a face. Use the eraser tool, erase these little ends that we made. One thing I like to do is add a little bit more detail to the top of the roof where the shingles are, because it looks a little bit better when you render it. So I'm going to click on here, hover over here, and draw a perpendicular line about 3/4 of an inch, so 0.75, enter. And then I'm going to hover over the line and draw a parallel line going up here. Click the line tool and reconnect those lines. Then I can delete that extra line. What I'm doing is I'm creating, well, as you can see, I'm creating like a bump out where the shingles would be. And it creates a little bit more definition and a little bit of shadow and shading when you do a render of the model. So I like to add that. So now we have our profile. We select that profile. That's the profile of the roof. But I want to make sure it lines up here at the top of the wall properly. So I'm going to draw an extra line right here going up. And we'll just select that, or shift select both of those faces. Use the move tool and then move this. Snap that over to where our wall, the top of our wall. Turn off X-ray mode. And delete this extra line. So now we have the profile of the roof and, or excuse me, the outline of the roof, and then this is the profile. So we're going to do the same thing as we did on the wall. We're going to use the follow me tool right here, click on the small face, and then drag it, hover around the whole the outline of the roof. All the way around, step once, back, and then stop short and click again. So I'm going to pull this over a little bit again, closer, but not all the way. Delete this face, select, hit delete, and then I'll draw lines to connect this with the line tool. Oh, that did something unexpected. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to draw this and then use the select tool and delete that extra face it made. And then I can keep going. There. That should do it. So now I made a bunch of extra faces. I can just select them and hit delete. Delete these extra faces. We don't want those. And then select these lines and delete those as well. The only thing is that this face right here is reversed. I can see the dark side is on the bottom, the light side is on top. So right click on it, reverse face. There. Now I'm going to want to create the rest of the top of the roof. But before I do that, I want to delete these, use the eraser tool to delete these inside lines. I want to keep the bottom and the top, but I want to delete this middle part. This is totally useless and it's just getting in our way. There's no reason to keep it. We need the bottom part because we need it for this right here. And if we were doing interior renderings, we'd have to model a ceiling in here too, but we're not for now, so that's good enough for now. So now, in order to create the top of the roof, we're going to use the line tool and click on the corner here and hover over this line and hold down Shift to lock the line. And then, here, let me move my camera over. So click the line tool, click on the corner, hover and on the line, hold Shift, and then hover over this other side, opposite side around the corner, and click. And then when I click this, it makes a perfect triangle. And use the eraser tool to erase the extra line. And then I'm going to keep doing that around. So I'll do that for this next one. Click on the corner, hover, hold Shift, and then I'll go around the corner, hold it on this face, and click like that. Then I can draw a line from here over to there and delete this extra triangle and this extra line. Okay. Then I just keep going around until it's all done. Line tool, hover, hold down Shift, click. There. Now our roof, the basic form of the roof is done. So we did our wall. Now we have our roof. So for right now, I'll triple click that. Go edit, make group. So that's one group. And then the wall with the base of the ground is another group. And let's save it at that point. Okay, so next is we want to draw these towers. They're going to be drawn as separate objects for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and I want to click on the move tool, hold down Control and make a copy and go over about 300 feet, enter, just so it's out by itself. Turn on X-ray mode, and I'm going to right click on the image and explode it so that I can trace this and make it a face. So since it's the same on both sides, I'm just going to draw half of it. So I'll start in the middle, draw up to, okay, so it looks like this thick line is the top of the roof. That's just an extra piece that catches the rain underneath here. We don't need to draw that right now. So we'll just trace the outside of this. Do perpendicular, hold Shift, click here, hover, parallel, hold Shift, go back, perpendicular, hover, hold Shift, go up to there, then straight down. Then it looks like we have to do a parallel line to that. Go up to here, straight down again, hover, parallel up to there. And then we'll finish by drawing this side of this wall. Go straight up. Delete the extra line. Okay, so since this is a copy, I can delete the extra stuff that I don't need. So I'll just use the eraser tool, delete all this extra stuff. Now I can continue to model this and just draw these extra lines in here. Just click here, hover, hold shift, and delete, draw all these extra lines. Then delete the extra little tails there. And while I'm at it, I'll draw these inside parts. Oops. Might as well keep going and draw the outside of the door. And while I'm at it, I might as well draw the details in the door. Actually, no, I'm not. I'll draw the door as a separate object later and make it into a component later. So this is good enough for right now, except I forgot to draw these arcs right here. Gotta finish by drawing these. Oops, zoom in here. Excuse me. Okay. That's good. Okay, now I'm gonna select all of this, use the move tool, click on it, and hold down Control to move a copy over here. Then use the scale tool right here, and then start to scale the side and type in -1, enter. That will do a mirror copy. Then use the move tool, move it back, snap it, and then delete these extra lines in the middle all the way through here. That gives us a nice solid building. I don't like to keep these lines in the middle. Some people do that, but it does not work good. Later on when you're doing rendering, then you got all these extra faces in the middle and it's messy. I really think this is worked out a lot better in my experience. Now we can use the push-pull tool and well, first let's turn off X-ray mode. We'll use the push-pull tool, click on a face, and hold down Control and just push it back. Actually, before we do that, we don't need the texture anymore for this part. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go open up our materials window. So window, manage trays, default tray, click on materials, close. Okay, so open the materials window. You can see the materials we have in our scene. Click on default and then just drop it on there so that those textures aren't distracting us right now. We're just working on the model part of it. So let's push pull each face back. So click, hold down Control to move a copy back. We'll just do it. Doesn't need a lot, maybe that far for right now. And then I can do the same thing, hold Control, push pull back, or I can just hold Control and then double click, and it should do the same distance as I just did. And I'm going to also do that for every single piece. So now I'm gonna select these faces that are turned backwards and they're turned around, and then just click, right click, reverse face. Now I don't need these extra lines, so I'm just going to use the eraser tool and delete all the extra lines. This back does not need a door right now. Okay, it does not need all this stuff. Okay. I'm even going to just delete. Make sure I can delete any extra stuff. All these lines are extra. They're just going to make the model messy. Okay, that's good. Maybe I'll re-close that and make a face there. But we still have the detail on the front, which is the only place we care about. So I will select that and move it. What do we do? 300 feet. So type 300 feet, enter. And then move it back into place. Hold shift until it gets to where it's supposed to be. And well, I can see a little problem with the roof there. We'll have to cut that part of the roof out. What does this say? Okay. It looks like this part of the roof should line up. So, but if that were true, I guess that it's a little bit off from the plan though, but I think we could probably work with that. So we just have to cut a line here. Ooh, that didn't work. Maybe for now, let's just move it close and leave it for right now. Turn on X-ray mode. There's other things we can do later to make it. We could line this roof up and make it look really smooth, which is probably what we'll have to do later. For now, I want to get this roof correct. It's going to be sticking out. Like it doesn't. You can't see the door sticking out, but you can see the roof sticking out. So if I select that image and move it, hold shift, move it over here, we can use the push-pull tool to move the roof out to where it should be. And then we'll just add back in a little bit of definition here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That. It's interesting. Doesn't look like that should be like that. Maybe they did it wrong. Oh, the way it's showing, it's not drawn correctly, but the way I think what they want. It's just not lining up, but I think this needs to go back. This makes more sense. That wraps around the building tighter there. Yeah. And then this stays out like that. Okay, it looks good. Delete any extra lines. And then also, in reality, these would stick out a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of definition. Something like that. Now we can triple click it, go to edit, and we need to make a component, because components you can copy, and then when you change things on it, all the components will change, but groups do not do that. So I can click on it with the move tool, hold down control, copy it over here, and then select both of these, click the rotate tool. Let me save it. I have a feeling I don't want it to crash. Okay. Select both of those with the select tool, click on the rotate tool, click here, click to the side, then hold down control, which makes a copy, and then rotate a copy 180 degrees. Then use the move tool to move these over here. And they don't line up 100%, but I think they're supposed to, because they're only a few inches different, a few inches taller. That might be a mistake. Don't know. If they need them a few inches taller, we can do that later. And then move them back into place to match the plan. And we'll move this image back out for now. And we'll definitely have to cut out the roof on these spots so that it looks like this. But we will do that in a different section of this tutorial. So we're gonna stop it and make that the end of this first part of the tutorial.